taking your coding agent to the next level with the Playwright CLI. This is a very important video because I want to share with you a new tool, not so new, but a tool that I've been using heavily lately, and it's called the Playwright CLI. It's significantly different and better, in my opinion, than the Playwright MCP, and I use it very often, almost on a daily basis. I think it's the tool that I'm actually using the most from all the skills and all the MCPs out there. And I wanted to record this video because I realized that many people are unfamiliar with this CLI. And to be honest, when you're building with a coding agent, let's say Claude Code or Open Code or Codex or anything, one of the toughest or hardest things to do is when you're building a front end to close the feedback loop in a way that you actually understand or you are able to feed the coding agent with what is broken and what should be fixed. And this usually creates delays and basically makes the feedback loop too long, and it slows down the whole building process. So this is why Playwright CLI is such a great tool for boosting efficiency and effectiveness. So in general, what is Playwright good for? It's good for many different stuff, and I'll cover everything. But before I do, I want you to know that Playwright basically has two options. You can use it in a headful manner, meaning you can connect it to your own browser, so you're already logged in, etc. Or you can use it in a headless browser, which has pros such as being faster and a few more things. For my use cases, I usually use this Playwright MCP bridge, which allows me to stay connected to all my my social networks, so I can automate stuff on LinkedIn, on Meta, on X, Reddit, etc., etc. So this is something that I find it important to mention before we get started. So in general, the use cases are as following. First of all, as I said before, it is very valuable for end-to-end testing. So you can automate end-to-end test across different types of browsers, Chromium, Firefox, etc. Basically, this allows you to use your coding agent to record end-to-end tests, and then you can also do regression testing and smoke testing. And whenever basically you upload a new version of your website or your web app, you can run this test, and it can very easily find what needs to be fixed. And if you're already connected to the repository, it can very easily tell your coding agent what needs to be fixed, and basically after fixing, it can go and conduct the end-to-end test again. The next thing is using it for browsing. So basically you can give your coding agent a real browser, let it navigate, fill forms, take screenshots, and verify UI. I will show you an example in a moment. It is also valuable for light scraping. So you can extract data from pages that need JavaScript rendering. And basically when you need to just extract a few things from a web page, it gets the job done. The next thing is visual regression. So let's say you built an app and now you want to conduct tests and you want to make sure that nothing has broken in terms of the front end. So it can take screenshots of the current state and compare it to screenshots of, let's say, a week ago, and make sure that nothing has gone sideways. So this is called screenshot, basically visual regression. It can do PDF generation, and it can also do video recording of browser sessions for debugging, which is very valuable, and I'll show you in a moment. For those of you who don't know, Playwright was built by Microsoft. It is the industry standard. As you can see here, the GitHub repository of the CLI is quite new, but in general, the Playwright repo has a ton of stars, and basically everyone I think not everyone, but most of the people who are doing automated testing are using Playwright. And as I said before, at the beginning, it supports headless and headed mode, persistent sessions, and also multi-tab workflows out of the box. Now, it's very important to emphasize that Playwright isn't a good solution for scraping at scale. So if you want to scrape at scale, so you probably need something more robust. So Playwright doesn't allow very easy proxy rotation. You can build workarounds to do proxy rotation, but then you need to buy your own proxies, handle fingerprints, IP rotation, etc. It doesn't allow captcha solving out of the box. There are some solutions such as Selenium base that is kind of a competitor of Playwright. It's supposed to offer captcha solving. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So anytime that you have a Cloudflare challenge or recapture, basically you might be stopped. Although these days, if you're using Playwright connected to your coding agent, Playwright can take a screenshot of the captcha, and if the captcha is very easy to solve, it might be able to solve it. I've seen instances in which it was already able to solve this, and this is something new because like 4 or 5 months ago, I tried to solve the same captcha with Playwright MCP, and probably the models were not strong enough because it wasn't able to get the captcha right. But these days, the pass percentage in which it can solve captcha is becoming higher and higher in my opinion. But it's not perfect yet, and obviously it doesn't have the scale infrastructure. So when it comes to scraping at scale, I highly recommend that you check out Bright Data. Bright Data has also scrapers that are already out of the box, and you also have the Locker API, which basically is a very useful tool that allows you basically unlocks the whole web, so it can solve captcha at scale. They handle IP and proxy rotation for you, and many other good stuff. So if you need something reliable at scale with an infrastructure out of the box, check out Bright Data. For coding agents, you can either use their scraper APIs, which are over here, but I very often just use their MCP, which is very valuable when you want to scrape stuff at scale. You don't have as much control as you would have if you use the scraper API, but if you need something in between, definitely check out the MCP that Bright Data are offering. Now let's go back to the slideshow. Okay. So now let's discuss MCP versus the CLI. So many people, including me, were using the Playwright MCP heavily, but the MCP has some downsides versus the CLI, and the CLI plus the skills. So recently they published a few skills, which you can see over here. These are skills like in any Claude Code, skill. So for example, we have the video recording skill. This is how it looks like. All the instructions of the skill, pretty basic, but very valuable. Now, in terms of comparison between the CLI and the MCP, so CLI plus skills is more token efficient, which is very important. The skill files guide the agent. It's very lightweight in terms of the context window. The strengths are way fewer tokens per action, better for coding agents with large databases, and it's easy to install, although also the MCP is easy to install. The weakness is less rich page introspection and no persistent agentic loop built in. While on the other hand, the MCP, I would say it's more for exploration, using the agent to explore. So it has very rich tool schemas, full accessibility tree, persistent browser state, and it has iterative reasoning over the DOM. So it's better for exploratory automation, self-healing test generation, and long-running autonomous workflows, but it is very token heavy and it is slower, and it's very often an overkill for a simple test flow. So CLI is the recommended approach for coding agents, but MCP is also valuable, mainly in my opinion, for the building stage or for exploration. Now, this is basically, let's skip this because it's becoming a bit longer. The video is becoming a bit longer than what I wanted, and it's basically emphasizes what we just discussed. Now let me show you the skill system. So first of all, I installed the Playwright MCP. Over here, you can see all the capabilities or the core interaction. So it can open a URL, it can go to a URL, it can close it, snapshot, click, double click, fill a form, type, hover above elements, drag stuff, select, check, upload, resize, etc. It has navigation skills, so going back and forward, reloading, keyboard skills, mouse movement, screenshots, listing all the tabs, generating new tabs, basically everything that you need. It can also clear cookies, save cookies, etc. But the most valuable thing, in my opinion, is the fact that obviously it can generate tests. While it interacts with your website, it already generates the test. It records in a deterministic manner all the code, and then it can very easily just conduct the test again and again and again. So this is very valuable because it allows you to build end-to-end tests and regression tests and smoke tests, like I mentioned. It also allows you very rich debugging capture, so it can capture the console, it can capture the network, screenshot, snapshots, etc. And the best thing, in my opinion, is the video recording. So it can capture a session as a WebM video, and basically what you can do after it captures the session, you can obviously view the session, or you can set it to an LLM that can analyze video. So for example, you can upload the session to Google or to Qwen. I think these are the best tools at the moment that analyze videos, longer videos, and it can also see the difference between, let's say you wanna look for visual regression, so it can do a visual regression test using the video, or it can analyze the interaction and see if anything was broken during the interaction. So this is very valuable. Now let me show you an example. All I did for over here, as an example, I told him, go to my website, nofluff.online, and sign up to my newsletter. By the way, I highly recommend that you sign up to the newsletter if you haven't. And then basically it took 45 seconds or 1 minute, and it generated the following. So all captured. Here's what the session recording. So first of all, it took screenshots of all the steps. So first step is the homepage, then the email that was filled. It used the test subscriber at nofluff.online. Then it took a screenshot of the subscribe page. Basically, it's the confirmation page in which I have like an offer for people who just joined the newsletter. And then it also captured the entire video and it saved it over here. You can see the session right here. So as you can see, it was done automatically in a headless manner. It found the website, navigated to the website. Now it will fill out the email address. Wait, so test subscriber at nofluff online. Then it obviously finds the element of the subscribe. It's going to click it, and then it says like the confirmation page with the no-brainer offer. The mechanism, for those of you who don't know, basically it takes a screenshot. It takes a screenshot and it analyzes the page, and based on the analysis of the page, it sends the analysis back to the coding agent, and the coding agent guides it. Okay, based on what I see over here, subscribe to the No Fluff newsletter is the button that we should click, and it tells Playwright to click the button, and this is how it works. Basically, snapshot, sending to the LLM, which is the brain. The LLM returns what it should do, then it does the action, then it takes another snapshot, and so on and so on and so on. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Let me see. Yeah, so another comparison on when to use the CLI and when to use the MCP. I guess, as I said, it's more, MCP is more for exploration, CLI is more deterministic. I highly recommend that you use both and just figure out what is better for you and what works well depending on the use case. You can obviously generate your own skills with the Playwright skills nested into it. So for example, I have a skill that scrapes Reddit. It scrapes it using bright data, but then it uses Playwright in order to go back to the page and fill out a comment, etc. So, you know, there is a lot of ways to use skills these days, and my main point is the fact that you can use the Playwright skills nested in different skills and create really an amazing machine that does a lot of automations on behalf of yourself. Yeah, that's it. The key takeaways is Playwright CLI is the most token efficient way to give AI agent a browser. It's not a scraper. If you want to scrape a scale, use bright data. CLI plus skills beats MCP for coding agents with large databases. The MCP is great for exploration. Install everything. It's very easy to install. You can check out the repository. Just go to Microsoft Playwright CLI. You will find it. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, obviously like and subscribe. Leave your comment below with how you are using the CLI, or if you are using other tools such as the Claude Code, Chrome extension. Maybe you're using it and maybe you're seeing success with it. I would love to learn more about it. At the moment, I think the Playwright CLI is the most powerful tool, and I highly recommend it to check it out. That's it. Until next time, guys, keep on automating.